Have you ever thought that in spite of providing all evidence to the court, a person accused of a crime can get away scot-free because influence can bend justice and not the evidence provided? It looks like a magician doing a disappearing act. But this is not magic, but it is plain politics. And the place where this act is done is not a stage, but it is a courtroom. Surprised? Let's find out. People have a lot of fears, but the biggest fear is being a victim of a crime. We might all wonder whether we will ever get justice because our fear is that powerful people can twist justice with their money and bury the truth. And most of us hesitate to speak up when we face such injustice. This is what we always read on the news, where the main accused gets away scot-free. This reminds me of a cricket match where the rules of the game are same for everyone. But suppose if one team secretly bribes the umpire, then what would happen? As a spectator who's watching the game, it will look like the players are playing by the rules. But the outcome of the match is fixed. This is a current example of the outcome where a person accused of a crime can escape from the law if he has a political influence. I want to give you some more examples in the form of real case laws, where people have used such influence to tilt the scales of justice. Let's discuss the Lakhimpur Kheri case, a 2021 case, where many farmers were killed while they were protesting, and the main accused was the son of a union minister. Because of this, there was huge outrage across the country, and the Supreme Court was forced to step in. And the court also passed a remark that said that investigations was not up to the mark. Let's go back to 1999. And do you remember the Jessica Lal murder case? The case was about Jessica, who was working there and was shot dead during a party. The main accused was one Manu Sharma, and he was the son of a powerful politician. Because of his father's influence, he was enjoying freedom. The witness in the case became hostile, and the worst part is that evidence in the case too went missing. Only because of the massive media pressure and public outrage, the Delhi High Court was forced to convict him. Just imagine, without such public outcry, would the system have ever convicted him? Of course, let's not forget the Vyapam scam case that took place in Madhya Pradesh, and it was exposed in 2010. The case was about recruitment and exams, where people were employed to write exams on candidates' behalf. Let's call them proxies. And these people would help the students to get marks or qualify them for government jobs. In this scam, many politicians, senior and junior officials, and businessmen were involved in allowing people to write these examinations. These people were arrested, but as the case dragged on court, many witnesses and persons accused died mysteriously. These are examples right on our face where political power and money can allow people accused of a crime to escape from the iron hand of the law. So you might ask, why did this happen? Let me explain this to you logically. First, influence over investigation. As the police investigate a case, they have to report the case to the state government. Now, if the person accused of a crime is having political backup, then the investigation can get diluted. 2. Delayed tactics. Once the case comes into the court, there are several adjournments. Suddenly, files will disappear like magic and officers will get transferred. This is like what we see in the movies. Correct? 3. Witness intimidation. Who are all the witnesses to the crime? They will get bashed up and they get scared and then they turn hostile. This is what is happening, and at the end result is the case and the truth gets buried. 4. Bail as a shield. Some accused are very smart. They know that they are going to get arrested. They immediately approach the court and get a bail. Whereas usually the case drags on and everyone will forget. People, please don't think there are no laws. There are laws existent under Article 14 and 21 of the Constitution, which guarantees equality before the law and the right to life. As the Supreme Court says, Justice may not only be done but also seen to be done. But when political power comes into the picture, then this principle is tested again and again. Now, now you might be asking, what can we do as ordinary people? Do we need to simply sit and watch and do nothing? Or allow ourselves to bear the brunt? I would say no. Here are some practical ways where we can bring accountability to the system. Know your rights. We can use Article 32 to approach the Supreme Court directly if any of the fundamental rights are violated. Also, we can use public interest litigation or PILs that can reopen such cases. These are powerful tools. Support whistleblowers and witnesses. Did you know that India has a witness protection scheme and is active since 2018? But this scheme can only come into force when we demand it, and it can be enforced too. Follow up on cases. Once we read about a news or a scam in a newspaper, we tend to forget it as time passes. But this was not the case in Jessica Lal's murder conviction. Because of the constant public attention is what forced the courts to convict the persons involved. Media and social pressure. Courts have said that because of the strong public pressure, the guilty are punished. Our voices are tool, and when it's used responsibly. When I read about such cases, I really feel ashamed because justice is not only for the rich and powerful people like a luxury item, but for each and every one of us. The worst part is to be silent when injustice takes place. All of us have two choices to make. Either we need to be a spectator, being silent or allow everything to happen, or become a participant and demand accountability. It's like lighting a single lamp in a dark room. The light from one lamp cannot fill the entire room. But if many lamps are lit, then the whole room lights up. The topic of this video is not about courts or politicians. It's about us. If we stay silent and accept injustice, we are only lowering the standards of our life. On the other hand, if we insist on fairness even for small things in our lives like our homes, workplace and communities, then the change has really begun. So, let me ask you this question. Can political influence allow a person accused of a crime to go scot-free? But the real question is, will we ever allow that person to get away unchallenged? If we look at history, we can clearly see that when people rise, even the most powerful or rich people will be forced to bow down to the truth. In today's video, we have seen how Jessica Lal case, Lakhimpur Kheri and Vyapam cases can get buried when political influence comes into the picture. Also, we have seen a flip side. When people have raised their voice, then courts are forced to be accountable and people are forced to follow the law. Justice will eventually prevail. If you remember, in the beginning of this video, we have talked about a cricket match being fixed and that umpire being bribed. But when the spectators demanded a fair game, each of the players were forced to follow the rules. Similarly, in democracy, the spectators are us, and we are a crowd that can demand justice. If this video has kindled your thoughts, don't let that stop you. Please share this video with a person who thinks that justice is for those people who have money and power. We need to change that mindset. I request you to comment below with your thoughts as to which case requires more public attention, and we will discuss that topic in our future videos. If you really wish that you would like to be a part of this journey where law meets real life, please hit that subscribe button and we will be glad to welcome you to our community. Always remember, your awareness is the first step toward justice. As always, keep that lamp shining. Take care. Bye.